Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Pineapple Podcast, where it's all about being tough on the outside, sweet on the inside, and wearing your crown of gratitude proudly. Guys, today we have two special guests. We have Chris and Sari out from the BC market, and today we're going to be talking to them as they unroll and unravel to us some really interesting tips and techniques. How do you go from being an investor that's coming in, trying to find your space, and then getting into the land development space where you can excel? Guys, welcome today. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. First of all, thanks for having us. We're
Most
very
welcome.
honored to be here. So those who don't know us, my name is Chris Busey, and this is my beautiful wife, Sari Ringma,
Hey.
and we're out here in Victoria, BC, where the sun's shining. It's a little chilly, but compared to the rest of Canada, I guess it's pretty warm.
Absolutely, absolutely. But guys, we're really excited to have you here. I think there's so much information to unpack. I mean, I've been fortunate to know your story a little bit. So what I'd like to do is just let people understand and connect, first of all, let's talk about how long have you actually been in the real estate space?
Yeah, so we actually started, we thought we were in our full-time careers for life before 2019, and I was in social services for 20 years.
I was in the Navy. I was just at that point 20 years into my Navy career.
Wow.
Yeah, and so you can talk about our transition.
Yeah, so basically back in 2018, just a quick summary is in 2018 we saw the Scott McGilvery ad on Facebook with Keyspire, and we Sari said, hey, let's go check this out. It's in town, it's free. So we did that. We went to the 1 hour session.
And I'd like to add, we had nothing to do that afternoon. We were totally free, so why not?
Yeah,
So why not?
Why not? So we went to the session, not thinking of anything. Obviously, I did watch Income Property for many years, so I pretty much watched every episode. So we went to the seminar, and at that point, we had one rental property that had 2 units. We were recently together. We've been together for 8 years now. So at that point, we're like, wait a second, maybe what we're doing makes sense. Sari's whole goal before that was just to pay the mortgage. We had a rental property, it pays the mortgage, life's good. But we quickly, noticed that, wait a second, what we're doing makes sense. So let's go check out the 3-day workshop. So we went to 3-day workshop. Again, they started going over how to analyze cash flow and the different methods for real estate investing, and it all really started clicking. And then, we had no intention of going any further in the program. Like many people, we're very skeptical.
Yes.
But at the end of it,
we realized that we actually had equity in our house already, and then we started running numbers. I found the property to make us some cash flow, but everything just started going right there.
Yeah, so we ended up signing up with Keyspire right after the 3-day workshop, thanks to Joe's tenacity and twisting our arm and showing us the light. So we thank him every day for that one. It's pretty amazing.
Absolutely.
But yeah, basically the Monday after the 3-day workshop, we went to the bank, we refinanced our house, we found a rental property right away, and that's where it all started. It was a 3 up, 2 down, cash flow of $1,500 a month. And then from then on, so that was in 2018. Basically I spent the summer, our original plan was that we were going to be working partners, right? We're going to be working partners in the whole relationship. So we spent basically 6 months to a year learning that portion and reaching out to different investors, trying to find a money partner, which when you're first starting out is tough, and you get a lot of no's, right? A lot of people they don't have trust in you yet and that kind of stuff. So
we didn't have the faith in us either.
Yeah, and we didn't have the faith either, too. Fair enough.
We didn't know what we were saying.
Absolutely. Now, I do want to, you're saying some really powerful things here, and I really want our viewers to understand where you're coming from. Like most of us, we're just checking out something. It's a 3-day workshop. Then when you show up there, these guys are giving value because it's a free shop. But at the end of the day, I love what you said. This guy, Joe, who insisted that you are going to be very happy with that decision. Sometimes it takes people to believe in us or to believe in what they are providing more than we are. Because you're right, skepticism is across the board. We have places where you invest and it turns out to be the wrong investment because you feel scammed. But then you have people who build credibility and really want to give to this world and to bring people along. So I'm happy that, that Joe has actually invested his time to tell you, hey, you know what? It's going to be worth the journey. I mean, those are precious people, because a lot of times salespeople, sometimes they back away too, right? Hey, you know what? Your decision. And if you're happy with the decision, but you will never know what you don't know. And when you walk away from that, you don't know the possibilities. But one guy impacted your life by simply saying, this is worth it, guys. This is worth it. Believe me. And so you got yourself a cash flowing property. In today's world, that's like gold, right?
Yeah.
The cash flow is out the door.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's funny because at that point, we're a small community where we invest. It's only 15,000 people, right? So, but at that point, I'm guessing there were 7 or 8 of those properties on the market. Like if we knew then what we know now, and had the credibility and everything else in the Keystar network we have now, we would have had 8 properties cash flowing $1,500 a piece like that with some great JV partners. But unfortunately, we didn't, and we had to learn. It was it's a long journey. This isn't easy, and it takes time, right? So we took the full year to really master our skill or our craft and really gain the credibility. We ended up picking up 2 more properties like that. They were a little bit, the price had gone up a bit, so the cash flow wasn't quite as much, but still over $1,000. It's still great, with 2 great JV partners. So we moved into that, and I was basically buying turnkey properties. They were all turnkey, a little bit of paint maybe, but that's about it. So they weren't the value add properties that maybe people talk about. So that brought us into 2019 when we really said, okay, this is what we want to do. This is going to be our way of life. I was now almost 22 years in the Navy at that point, and my next posting would have been Ottawa. Right. And we live in Victoria. I don't want to live in Ottawa. No offense to everyone who lives in Ottawa, but I did. More importantly, again, we were a new relationship, and it wouldn't work if I would have moved to Ottawa.
We have a blended family. We have 3 boys, and we couldn't bring them from place to place. So
yeah.
So I want to pause you there though.
Yeah.
First of all, thank you for the service. I mean, being in the Navy, that's no small contribution to this country. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
The other thing that I love that you're saying is, before you got into real estate, before you had another option to really transfer your life into living your best life or making decisions, normally in that world, before you got into this space, you would be gone to Ottawa. You'd be on the phone with Shari and you guys would be having a long distance relationship, because in reality, that's what the majority of people are faced with. But this, and I didn't want to frame that in, because all of the real estate journey we talk about and all of the investment and the money you want to make and the properties you're buying, it translates to just a few things in life. You want to be having love and a strong family relationship. And the fact that you're making this is a big decision. You're saying, I would potentially have to give up my livelihood and my income after 20 years because I want to have this relationship. I have a second chance at love again. I have a family, and I want to make those memories, and I want to be able to share that time, right? So again, guys, I'm just framing this in. Thank you for sharing this. But for our viewers as well, guys, the journey of lifestyle freedom is not just about the money. It truly is, what does that money enable you to do in terms of your family and in terms of the place you choose to live and call home, right? Yeah. So I just wanted to get that out there, because to me, that's really powerful messaging. So tell us what happened after you guys consulted.
Yeah, so obviously 2019, we decided that we're both going to leave our careers, which I don't recommend, right? We both basically left our high-paying careers within 6 months of each other to make real estate our full-time journey with no lifeline. So it was...
He was all in.
Yeah, well, I say no lifeline, but one thing I did do is we ran the numbers, and I decided to cash my pension out. So instead of taking a pension, which it was worth $600,000, right? That's what it was worth overall. But it was worth $2,500 per month for the rest of my life, right? But I did the math on how long it would take to get that 2,500, that $600,000 back,
Yeah.
and decided it made more sense for us to cash it out and allow it to kickstart our real estate career. And that's where the building started. Is we actually used that money to build our first house, which was a house to flip. So we jumped into building, and Sari jumped into being a realtor. Just like as most realtors know, the first year is always a tough one. So Sari had to struggle through that first year, and I struggled through learning how to build a house. And
I am loving this. I gotta stop you. I gotta stop you here before you go further. I mean, this is exciting stuff. Okay, I actually have one of my podcast episodes talking about a bridge plan. I strongly recommend to people, do not quit your job. Banks love seeing a T4. Build as much as you can build, acquire as much as you can acquire before you transition. And you guys just said, okay, this is it. We're doing this. I love it. I absolutely love it. But I mean, you did do it smartly because you did have the idea to figure out what that pension is going to do for you. And yeah, pull it out, man. That's what you want. You want access to capital.
yeah,
Sorry, there are so many people in real estate that understands exactly what you're talking about. And so many of our investors as well, they get it, because that first year, it's tough, You're trying to build a business, you're trying to build credibility, you need to hustle because you can work all day. If you're not closing, you're not making, right?
For sure.
So good on you guys. I mean, congratulations. That's a big, bold move. I love the fact that you embrace it that way. But truly, really and truly, the support to each other is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And I think for many of our investors as well, many of you that are couples working in this space together, this is the strength. It's all about coming together, supporting each other in this journey. Now you talk about, we went and built a house. So you were looking at multifamily, cash flowing properties, not necessarily multifamily. They were like 4 doors and less, right?
they're actually all 2 doors. Yeah, it was all three, like a 3-bedroom up, 2-bedroom down. That was our sweet spot.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I love that, because again, many of us come into the space and it's like, okay, we got to start somewhere. Let's get a property. I love
Yeah.
that. Then you're deciding, okay, we're going to build. What was that shift like? Did you find yourself having to learn, do courses, connect with people? I'm sure you must have had a lot of coaching consultation with your coach. Like, give us an idea of that transition period, because if I am in this space, but I'm really liking land development and building, honestly, it seems like night and day for many people, and they don't know how to usually connect that bridge, So if you can share a little bit of insight in terms of that, and again, I'm sure people will reach out to you to understand it a little bit more, but just want to get that bridge, that mindset first of all, because honestly, the first thing I work on, it's all about mindset. If you don't have the right mindset, you're not going to do anything, right? So
Yeah.
you are clearly demonstrating mindset, but I just want our viewers to really grab hold of that so that they can see in themselves how they can make that switch.
So how it started was, actually, I'll even go back 50 years.
Okay.
So, I'm actually, my parents are both immigrants from Finland.
Okay.
And they both came over with a suitcase, and they had one suitcase between the two of them, and that's their whole life as they came over here for the better life. They'd met a friend that said, "Oh, come on over," and said, "Come over anytime," and they ended up doing that. They didn't have any English at all, and basically they just grew from there, and they saved up a little bit of money. My dad became a plumber electrician. They had $35,000, and they saw this land in Soup where they'd never been to, middle of nowhere. And he bought 40 acres with this $35,000.
Oh my God.
So just big forest. They didn't even know how to access it. They made a little access road and lived in the very front of the property. And that's where I grew up. We lived in a trailer until we had enough money to make a house, and we moved from there. Little did my dad know that would actually be his retirement plan. So he would sell off piece by piece by piece just so they could have the life that they grew. And now they're just coming home today from a 55-day cruise. And that's what they do for their retirement life, is cruise.
I love that. And thank you for sharing that. I did not know that connection. So that's why you're where you are. But what brilliant sharing is that, right? And again, he's doing this just on the belief that he knows something. Today, there's access to so much information, so much knowledge, right? But that's a clear demonstration of the power of real estate. Like, really and truly, you want lifestyle freedom, it goes back 50 years and even beyond, right?
Yeah.
And what was cool about it is while he was selling those pieces off, I had the opportunity to buy 12 acres from him. And that's where I built my very first house. Before I met Chris, we had massaged the land and got in there and built a house, and that's where I was raising my family when I met Chris.
Yeah, and then so I came in the picture, obviously, and we decided all what we just talked about. And so the max use for this 12 acres is 4 houses. It's rural property, so it's 4 on 10. It's called. That's right. Okay. So you're allowed 4 houses for every 10 acres. Right. So Sarah had already built 2, the primary house that we lived in, and then there's a secondary rental property with 2 units. So that was, again, like we said, that was paying her mortgage, which, that's all she ever wanted. So we decided that, let's try building a house. So we did the strata, we created 2 more lots. We sold 1 lot off, took my pension, and we used that money, that money there, to build a 4th house. We built that home, we sold it. And like I said, I've never built a house before. So I've done some renovations. I renovated a basement, but just small stuff, right? Putting a bathroom in, that kind of thing. But we had a really good neighbor on that rural property, and he'd done excavation, infrastructure work for 40 years. So he's been in this business for 40 years, and he basically mentored us through the creation of the land, because we had to build road, we had to put power lines in, septic fields, blasting, all that kind of stuff had to happen before we even built this house.
We had to move mountains to make the house.
Yeah. So he mentored us through the project, but he knows everybody. He's that guy with the golden Rolodex. So he knew the framer, he knew different people that we could trust, right? And that was the big thing with me not knowing what I'm doing yet. We had to find people we could trust and who would be willing to mentor me through each of the process, so I can learn how to be a proper builder. Yes. And even.
No, go ahead. But
even at that point, this was gonna be a one-off. Like we were just gonna build this house and flip it. That was it. That was it. That was our plan. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. But this comes back to, if you really want to move quickly and confidently, go together, find the right people in your life.
Yeah.
Again, this is just law of attraction at work, right? Like, these people are just being attracted in your life. And I love the fact that you said, okay, you built a house, great accomplishment, because you never built before. Yeah. You never built before, and you built a house. I could imagine how you must have felt. Like, that is like so powerful, right? Because the satisfaction is incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, and it was I maybe sent a picture in the comments after, but it was a beautiful house. It was in the country, overlooking a river. Like, it was a dream home, right? So I was sad to leave it and sell it, because it was so nice and I built it myself. But we realized during that build that that's what I'm good at. I'm really good at managing projects. And my background in the Navy was managing large scale exercises. So, planning and executing, exercises with 20,000 people, 20 ships, hundreds of aircrafts, like that kind of stuff. So big projects.
Wow.
So I brought that into the building side of things, and it just made sense. I still learned how to do all the little things, but during that build, Sarah's dad, retired electrician plumber, we did it together. We ran the wiring, we ran the plumbing, we did all that work together. Really? I literally did everything and once the drywall was done, I finished all the rest myself.
Right.
So just learning as I go. So I really got a taste for it and really loved it. And at that time, our market prices were going up. So what was cash flowing, before at $600,000 was now $700,000. It wasn't cash flowing. So we running numbers, and we found out our build cost. I just built a house, so I know what the build cost is. So we had a build cost, and Sarah knew the lot prices. And she found this lot. It was 2 lots side by side. Right. We figured, wait a second, we can buy these lots, build 2 of our 3 up, 2 down houses for the price we bought the last ones for last year, but they'd be brand new now and
Wow.
purpose built,
Wow.
right?
Yeah.
So that was that shift saying, wait a second, maybe we should start building our rental properties and do joint ventures that way, or however it works out. That's how we're going to do it, because you can't buy them anymore, but we could just build as many as you want. So
Yeah.
that was moving into building.
This is incredible. So, and again, you're so, thank you for sharing, because again, for people who are coming into the space, a lot of us want the freedom, we want the lifestyle, and we're very hesitant to make decisions. We sometimes we feel a little bit of uncertainty, but I love the sharing, because it shows that you were vulnerable at times, that you were uncertain at times, you just wasn't sure, but you were still taking faith and belief that you can do something, and you can do something different. And you went from 1 to 2. That's exactly how you have to do it. It's like you're building confidence at the same time you're building houses, right? Because you burnt the boat. Like when you quit the job, you burned the boat. You said, this is it. This is what we're going to. So you had nothing to fall back on, which is great. Right? You knew that this is the way going forward. And again, you guys, you tagged up brilliantly in terms of how you approach the market and your business. Because on the one hand, Sari's finding the deal, she's networking, she's in the community, seeing what's happening. And you're the guy, just give me the land, right? Just give me the land. I'll get something up there. We create value, and then we blow through that, and we can rinse and repeat, right? And my guess is the more you build is the more confidence you get, and the more excited you are to go bigger and better, right?
Absolutely. I didn't expect it to go where we were going, because again, once we built those tours, like, wait a second, okay, this works. Let's just keep building, 1, 2 at a time, building our portfolio of rental properties.
Right.
But again, Sari likes to reach for the stars and push me to my limit. So she found this other property, and it was in a established subdivision, which I actually lived for in my previous life for like 10 years.
Okay.
So I was house number 9 in that subdivision, and at this point there's like 700 homes. So it's a large planned community. The owners of that were now in their 80s and been doing it for 20 years, and they didn't want to finish the last couple phases. They're aging out. So they put a portion of land up for sale, and it was zoned for 44 lots, executive style homes. So, 3,000 square foot houses, really nice area.
Beautiful. Yeah.
And Sari's like, she started running the numbers again, using our build cost of the one house, the 2 houses, and saying, if we can figure out the infrastructure side of things here and how much that's going to cost, this may make sense. And she pushed and she pushed.
I started the conversation. We actually had a bunch of investors over, because again, sometimes it's scary doing it yourself. So we took comfort in surrounding ourselves by people. We had a dinner over, and I was like, hey guys, I just want to put this out there. If anybody's interested, like, look at this land. It's been on the market for 6 months, and this is what it is. And I think if we break down the cost, I think it's pretty good. The returns are awesome. And everybody's like, oh, well, tell us how it goes, Sari. And they left, and I was like, Chris, I don't think anybody's interested.
No. Yeah, there's a lot of tell us how it goes, fine. Good luck type thing, right? That kind of conversation.
And so I worked on Chris for the next 6 months.
Yeah, this was a long conversation.
I'd come home from work and I was like, I just can't get rid of this thought. I think there's something here, and just keep on.
Nice.
Yeah.
Love that, because that's something inside you. Again, these are powerful, sort of mind attractions that we talk about it superficially, but you're demonstrating it. Law of attraction is powerful. And when it gets inside of you, this is for you. And if you don't act on it, it's going to get released and somebody else will get it. So the fact that it's gnawing at you, it's like keeping you up at night and reminding you, hey, even though you're selling this and doing that, I'm here. I love that. And you're acting on it. So that's just incredible. And I want to just sort of break down a few things here. You're not the expert at this point in time. You're just testing yourselves. You're saying, I can do this, right? And for our viewers as well, and even for myself, I love that, because I don't want to get too much into my story, but I also started off as an immigrant in this country. And the majority of things that we've done is because at first it's, I can do this. Never done it. I have no idea how to do it. But that's the belief system. And this is what it is about. So you've even pushed yourself forward to bring investors, not knowing how to present to an investor community, but you're having a conversation. So what happened? Did anybody from that first presentation get back to you?
Not during that portion. Now they're all picking themselves and saying, damn, I wish I would have said yes to that. Still, I wish I could have been part of it. But no, that group said no. And we talked to a few other people during the process, and everyone just kind of showed interest but didn't want to jump in.
So I wanna hold up there again.
Yeah.
This is you putting yourself out there. This is not easy to present. No. Presenting publicly like that and then inviting them on your home, and you're nervous and you're giving it out there, right? The next time, the nice thing is there is a next time, because you didn't give up. That was your icebreaker. So those people who did not, I mean, one is they obviously they're going to regret, but on the flip side, they gave you the opportunity to start talking, start the conversation. And again, this could be almost a course or a lecture in itself, in the sense that put yourself out there. You may fail, but that's okay. You're learning and you're growing, and you're going to get better on the next run. So, I know I'm interrupting a lot, but man, I'm getting so much here that I really want to emphasize it, So give us now what's happening on the next presentation, because the deal is still on the table, right?
Yeah, still on the table. We haven't put an offer on it yet. So Sari, so we knew our strengths, right? My strength was managing projects, sorry. Sari has a great eye for design and finding the deals, that kind of stuff. But we knew our weakness or shortfall was raising capital.
And asking.
And asking, because again, we still kind of saw it as asking for money, which, we all know now, you're actually providing opportunity. But it was just, it was hard for us, right? And I knew that I can manage a project, give the project the attention it deserves, but we also think that our lenders need that same attention, right? So we need somebody to take care of our lenders, answer the phone calls, that kind of stuff. So we started talking, and Sarah's like, well, who's the best person out there that we know that does this? And, in the Key Spy world, we all know Lori May. And so Sarah reached out to Lori May, and I'll let her read.
Yeah. Basically, I just sent our presentation, I think it was 7 pages. Yeah. At that time. And so I just said, hey, do you want to jump on a call? I'd love to just talk something over with you and see if you have any interest. And so we jumped on the call probably on a Sunday morning, and I just started. I said, I don't know if you had a time to look over the presentation, but if you are interested, this is something we can do. She goes, nope, I'll stop you right there. It's not if I'm interested, it's let's go. It's when we start. So that's how the conversation went.
Yeah, I think that was about 30 seconds into the call, pretty much. She said that. So
I had it on tape.
Yeah. So Lori May was all on board, and so we decided that it'll be 3 equal partners. We each do our own share. So we weren't hiring Lori May or anything like that. It was 3 equal partners.
Right.
Her role is to raise the capital and manage the investors, which obviously everyone knows she does amazingly.
Yep.
And we went from there. We put the offer in. It was up for 4.6 million, was for 44 lots. Sari negotiated down to 4 million, which included a $2 million VTB, which you don't have to pay back until the first 23 lots are sold. So phase 1. So
brilliant negotiation. Brilliant.
Yeah. So it worked out really well. Again, I had that previous contact, my mentor for infrastructure, the neighbor. So I started talking to him about this project. He's like, yeah, this is easy. I do this all day.
And we had no idea.
I've never done that before, right? You never put roads in and stuff like that. He says, I got a guy for you. No problem. We'll get this done. So we worked through it, and
all the numbers worked. Everything that we had sort of an assumption about, everything checked the box of how the numbers would work and how we can make it all happen. So everything made sense. So it was nice to have that gut feeling, and everything just checked the box. And mind you, we are a couple years since we started, and we've had land development's a bit of a roller coaster. So although it's been very successful, it's also been an adventure.
Yeah, it's definitely not all roses, like like when we put out there on Instagram or that kind of stuff. It's been it's been up and down for sure. Been a lot of stressful nights and long days, and just learning, right? Because I've never done this before, and we've never done this before, and it's like.
And when you add people, other people other than us, it just adds more elements of surprise.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I mean, this is as real as it gets, right? Because you're right. At the end of the day, we all just want to shout out the successes and the stories of greatness. And we shy away from the fact that it is a roller coaster. And land development, it's not for everybody if it were, and it's not easy, because if it were, everybody would be doing it. And time, like you're borrowing money to get this project off the ground. It's always investors, so it's a higher interest. And then you can't afford to lose a month, lose 6 months. And then sometimes the city itself or the town itself, they have certain things and they have a queue system and you're just waiting there. And it's like money going every day until you can get this going, right? That's why if you're into land development, as many of you know, typical project runs you 5 to 7 years on the bigger scale. So if you're within 5 years, you're winning already. But it's not for the average person too, because Chris, like you said, you had a mentor, you had somebody on your corner that's really cheerleading you and teaching you the things that you need to learn. Because if you don't have that network, it's impossible. It really is impossible. This whole community, and that's what I personally love here, is the community side of it and helping other people, helping everyday people become great. That's where the strength is, because we can all go to the big developers, the Matamis of the world and what have you. They don't care who we are. They're so big and they have all the institution behind them. But people like you, people like myself, people within the community, Laurie May, this is how we're going to help each other get to the financial freedom. This is how you're going to become somebody that loves doing what you do every day. It's because I support you as you lead the way, because you're pioneering. What you're doing is unheard of, but it's possible because of community, So I love the fact that you're being very realistic in telling us, hey, there are ups and downs. We might have had a timeline of 18 months and we're into 24 months and things are still moving. The good thing is, real estate generally climbs. Right now, the government has intervened. It's not climbing anymore, but generally it climbs. So even though you're playing on time and you're cost managing, at the end of the day, it's going to create value, right? So I think that's the gamble, but it is a gamble at the end of the day based on your best skills and your best judgment, So tell us, how is that project coming along and what's in the future for you guys?
Yeah. So like I said, we had some up and downs, and the long story short is, we had expected to be ready, all lots registered for sale in May. Because of the city and issues that happened with the city, it got delayed till August. So obviously the market had a big shift since then.
Yes.
So sales didn't go as planned. It haven't gone as planned. So that was a really hard time for us, because we had, anticipated paying all our investors back basically right now or December.
We're anticipating it early.
Yeah, early.
Which is our fun. We're so excited and so happy that we're going to be able to do that. And then it changed on us. So I would like to share that story about calling Laurie May.
Yeah, that's what I was getting to, is that basically we anticipated paying our investors back for, December was our term, end of the term.
Okay.
So that was our plan, and we were on track to do it early, like mile high. And then all of a sudden contracts started being returned, people backing up because the market changed, right? Which, understand, but it was obviously tough on us. And we hit that big low because, wait a second, it feels like to us that we're failing, right? We're failing Laurie May, we're failing the lenders, we're failing everybody. And it was a tough period. And it's only maybe 2 months ago now, some time.
3 months, yeah. And so it was one of those where when you have the low of low, I always have to try to find a solution. So I was like, Laurie May, are you available? Jump on a call. And she goes, okay, yeah, let's go right now. So we jump on a call and I said, I just want to tell you, this is what I'm feeling right now. I'm a little bit frustrated. We're really low. This is the situation. We've sold some lots, but not as many as we wanted. And I'm just so sorry that we disappointed you.
Right.
Yeah. And then she goes, wait a second. So, and then, again, it's a 2-phase project. So we're talking about phase 1 right now.
Yeah.
Do you realize we took a property that's worth $2 million? Phase 1's worth $2 million. We've put $2 million into it.
Yeah.
Right. It's now worth 10 right now. The property is worth $10 million.
That first phase.
She's like, I think we're okay. right? I think we're okay. We'll be fine. And it turned out we went and reached out to all our lenders, a little bit after that, and we explained the situation and basically said, we could pay you back today, very quickly, if we lower our lot prices, to almost cost, blow them out, and then you'll all be paid back. We won't get a profit, which, that's fine. And, the primary thing is to pay you back. So we could do that. But the problem with that is we are a very small market. The example is these lots were selling for 450. If we dropped them down to 300 or 300, yes, we can pay you back. But we've now affected the entire market of suit, dropping the lot prices down, and and which would hinder phase two, because we have 21 more lots to come in the spring.
That's right.
We're now dropping those prices, right? So, and they all understood. I know there's obviously some people that they're looking for money back, and we're working with them. But for the most part, they're happy. I mean, you know what? You're paying us X amount of percentage every month. We're fine. Just keep paying us that interest. We're fine.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah.
But it was that reality check with Lori May, and just, sometimes you just need that other person to bounce things off of, just to make sure.
Absolutely. And the beauty, again, the lessons in that is, you're giving us the real deal here. That is a lot of pressure, because you know that your first priority is to give back to these guys who believed in you, right?
Mm-hmm.
The market shifted. Yes, it's out of your control. And I could imagine the pressure that you're going on under every day, because you're like, we've passed the deadline. What do we do? Do we actually do that? But I'm happy that you have, somebody like Lori May who's experienced, and yeah, you've created value already. So at the end of the day, if that had to be sold, there's more money in selling it than what you owe in it, right? So, so the fact that you are able to have a cheerleader, somebody in your network and in your team to help you get out of that rut. And I can tell you, when you get into that rut, you really do need somebody to soundboard off. Because if you're talking to each other, you're just playing on the same game with each other, and you'll never get out of that mindset. But now when it's reframed to you, suddenly you're smiling, suddenly you realize, wait a minute, the hard work is paying off. Screw the market. I mean, at the end of the day, there is value creation here. And now you'll navigate carefully. And let's face it, you give the people back their money. There's not going to be too many projects to get involved in, because as you know, when the government intervenes this way and they drop into a recession, nobody's buying, nobody's spending, everybody's looking to flip their deals. I am seeing deals come here, permit ready, permit will be here soon, just buy the land, and here's the drawings and here's everything. What are they doing? They're trying to get out of the high risk side of the development, right? So you're in it for the long game. And you're keeping your investors happy, because you're going to continue to fund because you have equity. So there's so much to this area for land development that, like I said, it's not for the average person. And you do need to have a strong support system around you. But in addition to that, if you don't want to be the builder, but you want to get involved, then it's all about getting in touch with people like Chris and Sari, and understanding the projects, and getting involved. When you invest with people like yourselves, you're really doing more than just putting your money out there. You're part of a community. You're going to learn firsthand what it's about, right? And then, the next project, maybe they turn the tables. Now they find a deal. Well, here's Chris and Sari, your cheerleaders. They're going to give you insights. Why? Because you invested with them, and they're going to invest back with you. Community, right? So I love that framing. I love the fact that you've been so open and sharing with us, I know the market is a little bit on the wrong side right now, but we know it recovers. So tell us a little bit, what's in the future for you guys?
Well, the future's already started. So we have this obviously 44 lot subdivision that, we've pivoted. We're basically planning for the spring. We're going to build some of the houses out. We've already started phase 2. So we're really gearing up for a spring to summer sale now to finalize that project. But in the meantime, and we have 3 other projects on the go in different stages. And what's the beauty of it is, Sari found these properties before the boom, before really everything went crazy. So we've actually owned these properties for 1 to 2 years already.
Nice.
So we have 4 other projects. The other 3 are all townhome projects. from a 9 townhome to a 43 townhome project.
It's under rezoning right now.
Yeah, and then a 71 unit townhome project. And they're all at different stages, whether it's rezoning, development permit. The 9 townhomes are under construction right now. And they're all different partnerships. So that was really what, once we started our first one, we found the power of partnerships, and we started talking to other investors, other people, and we formed these other alliances. And now we're moving forward. And we have, that's 120 some odd houses under development, basically, for the next 3 to 5 years.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That is so brilliant. Congratulations on that. Again, love the fact that you shared with us, like literally from when you start, just buy some duplexes, figure that out, to getting into a system that really allows you to scale with the right people around you. Brilliant sharing for sure, So guys, again, I want to thank you very much for this. Any sort of, we're going to come to the end of the session now. So any sort of parting words that you want to give to our viewers, and also tell us the best way to connect with you.
My parting words are, it's so important because we're always right here in our day-to-day. And so actually sometimes we feel like it's so slow and we haven't done anything. I know that. But anyway, in our mind. So we always write down what we accomplished that year and what our goals are for the next year, because it's just a great reminder for us to look at, quarterly throughout the year. Okay, we did do that, and we are moving, we are making some momentum, even if it might not feel like it. So I'd always recommend just writing it down and reflecting and just taking that time.
Yeah, for me, it's all about, running the numbers, making sure everything works. But most importantly, you have to trust your gut. As you can tell, we really just run with our gut. And if it feels right, we jump in, we do it, and we'll figure it out later. That's kind of our motto, is let's just do it. We'll figure it out later. But it works because we have this great community, whether it's Keyspire or other communities you're part of. The people out there are there to support, your coaches, people like us who've been there before. Like, we're all there to help and support. And if you have that support, you can trust your gut and run as long as you run the numbers and make sure it works. But, jump in, do it. You'll figure it out. And if you need, we'll figure it out together.
Brilliant. Thank you guys again for being an amazing guest. I will put your contact information in the comments below. And to our viewers, remember, folks, you can find your strategy within real estate. You just need to make a start and then figure it out. And if you like the land development side, Chris and Sari are always happy to share. So remember, folks, hit the like and subscribe button and the notification bell as we grow our base. And again, this is Mitch with saying goodbye on the Pineapple Podcast, where it's all about being tough on the outside, sweet on the inside, and wearing your crown of gratitude proudly. Bye, folks.
Bye, guys. Thank you.